Today is October 30th, 2025, and tomorrow is going to be Halloween. And a lot of people are going to be celebrating Halloween tomorrow and go trick or treating, dressing up, um, and try to have fun, go to these parties and get drunk and all this stuff, right? So I think it's important to elaborate on the origin of Halloween because I feel like a lot of people just don't question things. People don't do their own research. People don't understand the origin of certain holidays that we celebrate due to ignorance. And today I want to enlighten you on why, I was even as um, a person that grew up Christian, I never celebrated Halloween ever. But even if I was a Christian, I would not celebrate Halloween at all because of what it represents and what it does to our society. So let me enlighten you a little bit on Halloween. So the entire theme of Halloween is a celebration of darkness, right? With ghosts, demons, witchcraft, horror, vampires, blood, death, right? It's a celebration of death, which is why Dia de la Muerte from the Mexicans is something that I don't support whatsoever. Um, now, um, in spite of that, Christianity is about light, life, living, and truth. And you guys who know me know that I am someone that advocates for truth and transparency. And not to be too biblical here, but in the Bible it says in John 8:12 that I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk into darkness, but he will have light of life. So Christians, I should say, reject the darkness. Anything that has any association with evil is going to immediately be rejected by people of the faith. Now, that is one reason. But now, I think it's very important to understand the origin of Halloween because it comes from an ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, where people believed, right, that the dead could cross over into the world of the living. So they would practice rituals and try to communicate with spirits, and offered sacrifices, like food sacrifices, and most likely animal sacrifices as well, and wore disguises to ward off demons. And even though it seems innocent today with like the candy and the pumpkins and pumpkin patches, another thing people do to try to cope with make Halloween less of what it actually is. Um, but even the pumpkins are supposed to symbolize some type of scary thing, right? Um, But the foundation of Halloween is based off paganism and the occult. And in the book of the Bible, in Deuteronomy, it forbids any form of witchcraft, divination, and speaking with the dead. Um, and Ephesians 5:11 says that have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. Now, nowadays, Halloween is also often incorporated with horror movies, with Night of the Living Dead. Um, what's the other one? Saw, I guess you want to count that, and you could also count Nightmare on Elm Street, Blair Witch Project, The Exorcist, um, the Blair Witch Project. There's so many horror movies that are often associated with our culture, right? And they try to make horror as if it's some form of escapism and that evil is fun, right? And I would argue that, these things often influence a lot of weird psychopaths and a lot of fantasies that people have, right? Because I feel if you really analyze everything overall, that what we perceive, what we see, often is going to influence us. Which is why I feel like sometimes video games itself can influence people to do crazy things because it's just what they are um, used to and seeing in that way. And this is also why a lot of women are into these horror things because women have a thing about where they love to be in tune with their emotions. So whether it's good emotion or bad emotion, women like to naturally be in tune with their emotions, and they tend to be intrigued by romance novels, horror movies, and also murder mystery stuff. Like I remember when um the Jeffrey Dahmer series came on Netflix. Everyone was watching it. All these women that I know were obsessed with it, and it was just more like they. I don't. I would hope not that they were celebrating the character and who the real person was, but I think they were more so like how the why was he like this, things like that. Ted Bundy is another example of why what a lot of people can be inspired by these weird fantasies that like are again come from the origin of Halloween and celebrating death and murder and um, massacres, things like that, right? But also, Halloween is something where it has hypersexualized a lot of people, and what was once like, oh, we're gonna just dress up as like a movie character or dress up as a horror character. Now, a lot of women sexualize themselves; they objectify themselves to be something, to have a reason, an excuse to dress promiscuous. And Halloween is the one day where, every time there's a, bar, everyone's dressed like a certain way. Um, and I mean, live your life. But again, at the end of the day, it's not, it invites a lot of lust and a lot of, indulgence with, to things that are not aligned with God. And, yeah. And again, they try to make things seem nice with the trick or treating and hey, here's your candy and things like that. It's just, but again, um it's not true. It's not what the origin of Halloween is meant to be about. Like, even Christmas, I don't even think Christmas is supposed to be about the whole gift giving. Like Christmas is supposed to be a day to celebrate the resurrection of Christ and his sacrifice. um and Halloween again is in its origin was rooted with witchcraft. So the fact that we celebrate this holiday is beyond me, and I don't get it. And I know there's a lot of guys that be dressing up you know, like these characters with their girls, and I'm just like, do you not have any respect for yourself? The things you could be doing out in the world instead of stressing up and going out to the club, dancing, dressing up as like, I don't know, whatever. I'm not trying to call anyone out. That's why I'm trying to be careful with my word. But again, it's it really shows where people's priorities are, and it proves that a lot of people, when you're ignorant to something, will legit follow whatever society tells them. But I'm someone that I do my own research, and I like to understand things. Like, for example, Memorial Day or Independence Day. What was the origin of it? Why do we celebrate it? The Fourth of July. Where did the Fourth of July come from? What was the foundation of why we celebrate these things? I don't go into life just accepting everything and believing everything that the government says. Like the vaccine. How many of you guys are vaccinated right now? It's like, just because the government told you to do it, you're just gonna follow whatever they say? No. Like, do your own research, do your own studies. Don't just accept everything that the government says and blindly follow. You can't. It's a very dangerous mindset to have. So, that's what I wanted to talk about today in regard to the Halloween origin. Be sure to subscribe. We're very close to 1,000 subscribers. I think we're like 8 away, and try to grow this channel up and bring truth and light into the world. So I see you guys in the next video.